What up, what up? It's Ace G. Back on the top, back on the video. So the title of this video is going to be Just Create the Channel. So admin notes, thanks again to all subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing vid out. You leverage the better yourselves. So I'm about to go home. I'm losing daylight here, so I wanted to get on the channel right quick and before it actually drops all the way down the sun and I lose daylight because I don't think I'm gonna have enough light in here for you guys to see me once it actually gets dark. But let's get into it. So just create the channel, just do the channel, just make the channel, right? So I'm going to give my experience in the Army when it comes to making rank, and hopefully it motivates you to go ahead and pull the trigger when it comes to making your channel, because missed opportunities can really hinder your growth in life, and it will definitely hinder your growth on YouTube. So the first 6 years that I was in the Army, I was an admin / mail clerk, and I did admin work when I was in Korea, and then I get stationed in California. Great duty station that I was at in California, probably one of the best duty stations I ever had. And I was a mail clerk with the first year I was there, and did not like it at all. I'm not gonna say I hated it. I know hate is a strong word, but hate is really close to what I was feeling like. I really did not like that job. It was very monotonous, and it was one of those things like it was just like it was like a Groundhog Day type thing. Watch that video if you don't know what I'm talking about, Groundhog Day. But yeah, I learned at a very early time when I was in California that I did not want to be an admin clerk for the whole time I was in. Right at that time, I figured I was going to stay in the Army the whole 20, or at least as long as they will allow me to stay in, right? So I'm like, well, if I'm going to stay in, I want to do something that, you know, I like doing in the Army. So my degree that I was trying to pursue when I was at Norfolk State University was computer science. So I was like, let me go ahead and go to the IT field of the Army and see how that works out. So I get to another duty station in Virginia, and then I asked my career counselor, hey, I want to go ahead and change my job. So I had to do some retesting and some other things, and by the time my 6th year hit, I was able to go and reclass to that particular job. So during this time I was reclassing, I had got married. Our first son was born, and then I went to Germany, and then I came back on emergency leave, and then I came back to be stationed in Virginia, and I did not leave for another 2 years. So within the first month I was in Virginia again, my first sergeant at the time, that's like the head person that was over me during that time, he looks at my paperwork. He's like, yeah, I see you have like about 6.5 years in the Army. I said, yes, first sergeant. He said, I see you just made sergeant. I said, yeah, I made it about 6 months ago. And he said, you know, you only need 6 months time in grade. You got the time in service, but you only need 6 months time in grade. So you literally can go to the board next month and become a staff sergeant. So that's all to say that I would have went from sergeant to staff sergeant within an 8-month span. You know, basically I would have caught up at the time in my career that I needed to be at. And my wife was very sick at the time. I had a premature baby, my first son. And I'm like, you know, I'm telling my first son, like, I don't have the headspace right now to go to the board. The board was kind of convoluted during this time. This was 2006. So, yeah, I'm like, I don't think I want to go to the board. Then I tell my wife about it. My wife's like, you need to go to the board. And I mean, she's sick now, and she keep harping on me like, you need to go to the board and make this rank. And I'm like, nah, I'm constantly going to the hospital with you. You know, I'm up all the times of the night with our son, taking to the hospital all the time. Like, what time did I have to study for this board? You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's no time, right? So she's harping on me for like a whole year. My first song was getting at me as well and everything. And after a while, they just stopped, right? Because they're like, well, he's not going. So, you know, 2 years from that time, I get stationed in Kuwait, deployed there, and I go to the board there. Well, the point system had changed. So basically it doubled, I had to make double the points, because promotions in the point system in the Army. I had to make double the points that I would have had to make had I went to the board 2 years before. So the fights are to say that it took me another 7 years from the time I made sergeant to make staff sergeant. Whereas I could have made staff sergeant within 8 months of being a sergeant. Think about that now. it took me another 7 years to make the next rank, because I did not pull the trigger and I hesitated. I did not want to go through the process. I did not want to go through the pain of trying to study while taking care of my wife and taking care of my son. Now, folks on the other end wouldn't blame me for this to a certain degree, because like I said, during that time, going to the board was kind of convoluted. It wasn't hard in hindsight, but I just was not in that mind space. Like I was, there was some things going on in the Army during the time with my career, and like I said, I had a sick wife and a sick son. And I'm like, I don't want to go to the board right now. But in hindsight, I should have went to the board. Like really, I should have went to the board. I would have probably been 2 ranks more than what I retired at had I went to the board. Because when I look at the statistics of how my career would have went and how the point system changed over the next 14 years that I was in the Army, like yeah, my promotion progress would have been crazy. I had so many peers that went to the board during the time that they told me to go to the board. And like almost half of them made E9. That's the highest rank you can make in the Army when it comes to enlisted. And they made 9 between the years of 18 and 22 years. So it's like, can't cry with spilled milk, and I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made the decisions that I made in life based off of family and based off of my mindset was at during the time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to put myself in a situation where I regret the decision that I made. But once again, in hindsight, my career would have progressed a lot more had I taken that leap. And that's what I want to get across at when it comes to creating a channel. What are you waiting for? What was I waiting for when it came to me actually going out there and going to the board? You know what I'm saying? Like, I always pride myself for masculinity. So when I look at hindsight and making an excuse that I was taking care of my family and not having time to study for the board, I could have made time. You could make time to create your channel. You can't make excuses, you know what I'm saying? Like, excuses are like, my grandma used to say the same, but I'm not gonna say it today. It's Thursday, it's not Sunday, but I'm not gonna cuss today or say anything crazy, but you know what I'm talking about. But I could have made time. There's so many things we make time for, but we don't want to make time for certain things that can better ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We make time for BS, and we don't make time for stuff that can progress us and to make us better. We make so much time for BS, so much time that wastes our time. We make so much time for people that waste our time, right? But we don't make time for things that better ourselves and gets us and pushes ourselves to the next level. So that's the video. Make the channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't hesitate. Don't let things get in the way. Don't let people get in the way. Don't let circumstances get in the way. I let a whole bunch of circumstances get in my way when it came to promotion. And once again, I had an excellent career. Excellent. A lot of folks were like, give me kudos. I got a whole bunch of awards. I was an instructor, teaching soldiers how to be leaders. I was the NCO of the year for a whole installation one time. If anybody in the Army or the military understands that, I was the top tier person on the installation. Now, I wasn't the highest ranking person on the installation. I'm not gonna say that. What I'm saying is going through all these boards and going through competitions, I literally beat out everybody in competition, and I was voted and basically won the NCO of the year. Almost like being the man of the year, right? So like how Donald Trump is Time Magazine man of the year this year. The GOAT. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, just create the channel, y'all. Create the channel. You'll thank yourself later. All right. So you want me to discuss the topic or something that benefits your channel? Email me asog757@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Say so G.